I'm gonna make for my family a beautiful aubergine parmesan Milanese. I love doing this. It's a brilliant way to really elevate the humble aubergine to the next level, right? And what I'm gonna give you is a method where we actually tenderize the aubergine, make it creamy on the inside, crispy on the outside with the parmesan, so good. And then I'm gonna serve that with a sweet tomato, basil and garlic sauce, simple pasta, bit of parmesan, happy days. So look, it's a really quick one to do, and it's a really fun process. So first of all, what we need to do is get the aubergine sliced up into 4 1 centimetre slices. Literally just shave the end off the black skin to expose the white flesh. Do the same on the other side. And then what we want to do is cut it in half. Now, I leave the stalk on because it really helps to hold the whole thing together. Now, once you've got it in half, again, exactly the same, put the knife in between, gently cut down, through to the stalk again, all the way through. So what we have here, essentially, is like 4 escallops of aubergine. So first of all, what we need to do is draw out the moisture. Now, it's gonna look like I'm gonna over-salt it, but I will be taking half of this salt off. But this salt is really important for this tenderization, right? So we're gonna put some of this aubergine on the salt here, like that. And that will start to bring the moisture out of the aubergine. It actually starts to change the texture, right? And we can actually treat it like meat, and we can start to tenderize that. And if you use like a regular meat bat, or even your fist, what you can do is start pounding, and you'll start to completely change the texture. By doing this, you're gonna get a creamy inside, and by cooking it the way I'm gonna cook it, it's gonna be really crispy on the outside. So simply flip that over, and then we'll do the other side. So already, this kind of feels completely different. And that's just from a little bit of time with salt and a little bit of tenderization. And then all I do now is get a bit of kitchen paper and just dab off that sort of salty juice, like that. So next up, breadcrumbs. What I'm gonna do is take this lovely vegetable and make it really, really crunchy. So I've got 2 free-range eggs, whisked up till they're nice and loose. Now let's talk about the breadcrumbs. I love to try and get the rosemary focaccia. Why? Because it's white, it's crunchy, but also the rosemary and garlic in this will give your breadcrumbs extra flavour, but with 1 ingredient. Of course, you can use whatever bread you want, but the more exciting your bread is, the more exciting the flavour will be on the outside of your aubergine, right? So 100 grams of bread I want, and just whack that straight into a food processor. Like that. What I quite like is it's kind of got a little bit of substance to it. Look at that. It's bouncy, there's some chunks in there. You can see the little bits of rosemary as well. So, now we're gonna take our lovely aubergine, just like you would if it was a cut of meat. Season it up with a little pepper, like that. And then into the egg. That's kind of like your binding. That's your glue. Can you see the difference in the texture, right? If you'd have just cut the aubergine, it would never do that. It would actually break. Shake the plate of breadcrumbs here. Let the excess come off, then put it onto the breadcrumbs and then use your other hand, otherwise it will get sticky, to cover it. Pat it down, bit of pressure, and then a little shake. But that, my friends, is a beautiful breadcrumbed aubergine. So 1 down, 3 to go. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got those 4 done. So now get a large non-stick pan on a high heat. A nice swig of oil goes in there. And then I'm just gonna lay our lovely breadcrumbed aubergine into that oil and start to fry it. I wanna get it lightly golden, so about 2 minutes each side. Now, look, the great thing about this recipe is traditionally, of course, it will be veal, right? Or chicken, or pork sometimes. And bigging up the veg, I think, is a really nice thing to do. So let's just have a little look at this first one that went in. Look, that's lovely. So flip that over. Look at that. Nice and sizzly. That black skin gets really nice and crispy too. Look at that, golden, crisp and delicious. And I've experimented doing the same preparation with slices of butternut squash, beautiful pumpkin, amazing, courgettes, or even a mixture of different ones. And I think it's just a brilliant way to enjoy veg, but we should all be enjoying more veg, right? So get yourself some Parmesan, and this is when things get even tastier. Garlic, rosemary, breadcrumbs. Now, a little Parmesan is going to be good. Get a fine grater and just kind of do long strokes on a baking tray. So that's like the welcoming party to our lovely aubergines. So have a little look at these. Oh, yes. That is beautiful. That's going to be so tasty. Look at that. Here we go. And then as it's all sizzling and gorgeous, then we go over with some more long strokes of Parmesan, and this will just become one. This will just melt into the aubergine. So at this stage, this beautiful thing goes in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, for about 10 minutes. And actually, 10 minutes is a pretty good number because I've got some spaghetti here and it says cook for 10 minutes. We'll boil that up. At the same time, we're going to make the simplest, quickest tomato sauce ever. So first up, tin tomatoes. There's plum tomatoes, great. Chopped tomatoes, passatas. Use whatever you like. But in the world of tin tomatoes, there's actually cherry tin tomatoes. And they're bloomin' delicious. And I've only really found them in the supermarkets in the last couple of years. So look out for these lovely little cherry tomatoes, right? Because they're gorgeous, they're sweet, and they're picked at their very best. So in a pan we go, with a little olive oil, and then a couple of cloves of garlic. Just run your knife through it. Easy peasy, right? Get that into the oil. We want this to be sweet, so don't get too much colour on that. Not always, but sometimes I'll put a little bit of chilli in there. I want it to be very mild. The kids are going to have it. So I'll take the end off, half it, and I'll take the seeds out, right? And then I'll put that whole chilli in, and then I can take it out later. But it's going to give this tomato sauce a hum. It won't be hot, it won't be spicy. So in we go. And then as soon as there's a little bit of colour on the lovely garlic, then we'll break the frying and go to boiling these beautiful cherry tomatoes. All you need to do is bring those cherry tomatoes up to the boil. We'll season it with a little pepper and some salt. And then some basil, about half a bunch. Just tear it up. And now we have a beautiful, delicious, fast, gorgeous tomato sauce. Put that on low. Pasta's got a few more minutes to go. Right, 10 minutes is up. Let's have a little look here. Look at that. You can see it sizzling away. That's going to give you the most amazing texture. So look, let that cool down. If you look in the pan here, see how it's just been on a very low heat, just drying up, right? What you've done is concentrate flavour. So now what we can do is take our lovely pasta and let the excess water rehydrate this. So cook that pasta nice and al dente, and then let it kind of do that last bit of cooking in the tomato sauce. So the pasta and the sauce kind of become one. Simple stuff, but so good. Look at that. I just love it. Extra splash of water. Get that consistency right. If you want to put a little Parmesan in the pasta, absolutely you can. It's just joyful. Right, let's plate up. Grab half of that pasta and just let it kind of hang, right? And then just let it just kind of drape across the plate. Gosh. A few bits of the lovely cherry tomato on top. They're so soft and tender. Get a little slice under the aubergine. You can see how crispy that's gone. And just lay it over the top. And I just love it. It's like the simplest sauce, but it just feels special. A few little baby basil leaves, and maybe one last little kiss of Parmesan if you want. But that's it. Job's done. Aubergine Milanese, simple pasta, and then the simplest, quickest little sweet tomato sauce. Let's have a go, come on. Let's get in there. So what I want from the aubergine is crisp on the outside and really buttery tenderness on the inside. Let's just go for a bit of aube first. Look at that. For me, it's all about taking the everyday aubergine and just elevating it to the next level. I love it. Absolutely delicious. Because you've got that beautiful crunch. And then the inside of the aubergine is so buttery and silky. It's got texture, it's got deep flavour. This dish makes me happy. If you've never enjoyed aubergine cooked like this, you've got to try it. Beautiful mouthful of deliciousness.
River! Dinner! Right, do you want some slurpy pasta?
Big or small bit? Big again. Let me give you some of mine.
Who's that on my foot?
Now, buddy, this is the crispiest aubergine. Do you like it? That is delicious.